have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond, worry no more. Because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Kairaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980 8483 340 9400 or 635-9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051, or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
Agada.
Mbijan aganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code Njie.
Okay. Korsan. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya.
Mbale
mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia ja.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi man domorol din fana be teat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat ha.
Apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the brunch. I am Lamin Cham and welcome once again to our weekly look at issues in the public domain this week. Well, this week the Access to Information Commission finally have been put in place after National Assembly members gave an all clear to the membership of the commission. The commission is going to be chaired by Nene McDowell, veteran broadcaster and former information minister, to be assisted as vice chair by Charles John Njie, a well-known civic society, member of civic society, former head of the non-governmental organizations Tango, and by Emily Touray will be commissioner. He is a veteran journalist, former president of the Gambia Press Union. So is Babakar Cham and Yasin Touray. They will be commissioners. After the National Assembly gave them all clear, they are now going to be appointed as commissioners of the commission. This program will aim at telling the Gambian people what exactly is embodied in terms of their duties, their roles, and their mandate in the act that established the commission. So, in the studio with me to do that is the Vice Chairman of the Council, of the Commission, Charles John Njie, and Commissioner by Emil Touray. Gentlemen, welcome.
Well, thank you, Lamin. Thank you for having us.
Maybe I should begin by congratulating both of you, as well as your colleagues who are not in the studio, Chairperson Nene McDowell-Gay and Touray. Madam Touray. Good. Now, to begin with, Vice Chairman, how did the Access to Information Commission itself, the act, came about?
Okay, thank you once again for having us. It's always good to be here at the brunch. Let me just give a quick joke. I told someone I was going to be at the brunch and they asked, is there going to be food? Right. I said, no, it's only water that is there.
You're not being fair because we offered you everything.
It's very, I think this access to information law, its formation, it's coming to bear. And now having the Information Commission in place, pending the swearing in ceremony. It has been from the initiative of the Gambia Press Union. And I must celebrate them under the leadership of this gentleman here and what's his name again? Sekou,
who was the Secretary General. Sekou Jammeh.
Yeah, and they thought it important to have this law, and then they approached the Ministry of Justice, and they got a consultant to draft the bill, and but in their thinking, it was important for this not to be a press union thing, because access to information is not only for journalists, it's for every Gambian. So they said, well, the best organization or group to bring in is civil society. And that's how I came to head the CSO Coalition on Access to Information. Then together with the GPU, we went through the formulation of the bill, discussed the bill, had government represented in the discussions. We had intense moments, but the good thing about it was whenever we had these meetings and discussions on the bill, we saw each other as Gambians, not civil society, press union, or government. We just saw it ourselves as Gambians doing something for the interests of the country. And from there, it was when we finalized with the ministry now took it to the National Assembly. And I think this was one of the, the jury, Emil maybe will correct me here, but this, I believe, is one of the bills that has been the fastest passed bill, the access to information law across Africa, because we've had stories where some bills have taken 10 years to pass because in some other jurisdictions. So honestly, it's a very positive move for Gambia, and this is the first time, I think, in our history, I stand to be corrected, where civil society has initiated this and has been wholly accepted by government, unanimously passed by the National Assembly. So it's a phenomenal law. And I think it also stands as one of the best in Africa.
Good. So you said it has really a very easy, or let's say consensus, if you like, from the drafting to the passing in Parliament.
Yeah.
Its incubation was very fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that in any way means that the government have demonstrated goodwill that it has probably not done with other bills in the assembly or in the pipeline that you yourself, as a member of subsidiary, had campaigned for example, the anti-corruption bill, the reparation bill, and other bills, the constitution, the draft constitution, etc. Why do you think this one was a lot more easier to fast track?
Well, one, I believe there is always a positive in working with civil society, having consensus, reaching a consensus, and working together in partnership, because civil society has the advantage of grassroots reach, has the advantage of lobbying the National Assembly and pushing, advocating, and keep pushing
credibility.
Yes, and obviously, yeah, the credibility. So I believe that has contributed. I don't know why other bills keep delaying, but I know civil society is very pushful force. And again, I believe the government has also demonstrated sound commitment in wanting access to information law, because everyone that says you want this law, you are saying that I want to be more accountable, I want to get closer to the people, I want information to be shared freely. I know in a lot of jurisdictions there is a skepticism that government will pass laws, and even here people will say government will pass laws and always good at implementing. But since the corruption has been established, and I strongly believe, and most of the friends across social media, when people talk to us in person, are very positive about the integrity of the commissioners. So I believe there is a very good chance. In fact, I strongly believe we will succeed with the collaboration of government and everybody. But again, as I said earlier, it's a very good move. It's a positive move, and Gambians should be able to celebrate the passing of this law, the establishment of the commission, and the possibilities that lie in the operationalization of the commission.
Emily, okay, it's been said that the concept of this came from the Gambia Press Union, the need within the journalist fraternity for access to information. It was very, even now as we speak, it's very difficult to get information that is meant for public consumption, and it is in the jurisdiction or in the custody of public officials. One reason or the other, fear of, exposing, they will bring all sorts of bottlenecks to ensure that journalists don't have this access. But now that this bill has come to place, people are saying this is only going to help journalists. That is, if they find cooperation from public officials. But you are not telling me that this is not just for journalists. It's for the public itself, and it will ensure accountability. How is it going to?
Thank you very much. I think I would want to start from where John stopped. Before coming to your question, I would want to emphasize that it was when I was at the Gambia Press Union that we felt there was a need for us to come up with an access to information law. This was likely owing to the fact that we felt at the time that Gambia was one of the few Anglophone-speaking countries in West Africa, without an access to information law. Before coming up with this initiative, we had engagements with the special rapporteur on access to information at the time, Pansit Tlaku. This was during Jammeh's days, when we were all pushing for an access to information law and trying to see how best the government was going to enlarge the democratic space. So I was, I think, myself and Barrister Edward Gomez, who at the time was the Justice Minister, were the ones that were invited by the Office of the Special Rapporteur to take part in the consultative process. So we went and took part, and we learned a lot from our counterparts, across Africa. So when we came, we continued the discussion that there was the need for us to have an access to information law. I was fortunate to have very progressive and hardworking people, around me when I was at the Gambia Press Union. So I could recall in the run-up to preparing the concept note, we felt we do not only have to work on getting an access to information law in place, we also need to work to challenging the constitutionality or otherwise of some of the laws that we felt are not in tandem with the Constitution. So we, whilst litigating, we felt there was also need to come up with this thing. So there was a particular day we went to the office of the Standard newspaper. I think it was in a weekend. So we were working on coming up with this concept note, and with the way this thing is designed, the way these people design their website is very complex. That is on there. So at some point, I could recall we went there when we went to Standard. We went there that morning around 9. Myself, Hadija, Sekou, and Abdurrahman Salah. We were there. So I think we went up to, we were working on the concept note. We went up to, I think, around 2. We were still struggling. So Abdurrahman left, and we continued, 3 of us. We went up to 6 o'clock. So when we went up to 6 o'clock. Everything that we imputed on the system disappeared. So we were discouraged. So we were kind of like, let's go home. We've been here, we're hungry. So Hadija insisted that no, we must see this thing because Gambia needs this thing. So that's why I always want to pay homage to Hadija and Sekou. So when we went, for the second time around 10, it disappeared. So and that was the last day, between 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So we had to, struggle. So she insisted that we cannot wait. We were kind of like, we're hungry. She said, like, yes, but we must see this thing through. So I think 5 minutes to midnight, we were successful. So eventually the concept note was accepted, and we developed the proposal, and it was also approved. So we went to Barrister Howard Sabali at the time. This was during Jammeh's days. During Jammeh's days. We went to Barrister Howard Sabali, who was at the time very helpful to the Gambia president, because he was the one representing us in
Yeah.
all our cases before the Supreme Court. We engaged her. We didn't pay her much, because with Madam Sabali.
Yes, she was helping.
Yeah, I mean, with Madam Sabali, we would go there and I would say, Ma, this is how much we are going to give you.
Yeah.
This is why I think Gambians must celebrate people like her. I cannot recall her charging us at any point, saying pay us this much. I always say, oh Ma, this is how much we have, and this is what we will do. And she will never, she will do it.
Yeah, I know.
Without, getting a burden from us.
Exactly.
So I think she deserves commendation. So after she prepared the bill, we felt there was a need to constitute a bigger team because access to information is not a immediate thing. It's a collective responsibility for everybody to partake in ensuring that a country develops an access to information law. So what we did was we decided to come up with civil society coalition because because what people always think that is that an access to information law is only meant for journalists.
Exactly. I want you to expand.
And if you go outside the jurisdiction of this country, you will realize that in most instances, probably 90 to 95% of people who apply for information are not necessarily journalists. Journalists don't have time to wait.
Yes.
So it's usually, in most instances, usually 5 to 7% of journalists who apply.
Yeah, what kind of people always need
Private
information?
Private citizens. Okay, in South Africa, I could recall, post apartheid.
Yeah.
The government promised to build 1 million homes for citizens.
Yeah.
So one of the things that people used to do was to make sure that they demand access to information to know the number of people that have applied, how the time those people applied, that enabled them to know whether they are eligible to apply, and if they applied, how long it was going to take them to have access to their homes. So there was no way that that some of these things could be shrouded in secrecy. That aside, if you look at the access to information law, it allows private individuals to know how government bodies are spending their resources.
So do you expect with the advent of this commission, what people really want to know is what exactly are your mandate and your work going to change, like make public servants now readily available and cooperate with either journalists or the private citizen who come in from Kiang and want to have information about the facilities that have been provided, the health center in Kolior or in Mansakonko. How is it going to change that public officer will be willing to give this information?
I don't know. The Section 6 of the Act applies holders of public office to ensure that the respective institutions create, keep, organize, and maintain information, in their respective institutions. So what that means is if I'm a private citizen and I'm keen in accessing certain information, I would have to pay a certain amount to have access to that, a very reasonable amount. So there's a particular instance in Ghana when the fee was made, unreasonable. So one of the applicants felt that was not in tandem with the access to information law, and he instituted civil action against the institution, and as a result, the High Court in Ghana ruled that the individual or every individual must not pay more than 5 cedis. 5 cedis
So that was
probably about $150 to have access
so
to
it became now standard.
Exactly.
Every information will be 5 cedis.
Yes. So
But you're not paying for the information. You are paying for maybe reproduction of a copy or some photocopy and things like that.
Yes.
So when can people come to you If for example, I want to access information from the Ministry of Health, I want to know how much drugs have been supplied to my health center, and I couldn't get that. When do I have to come to you?
You will have to apply to the ministry, requesting for the information, and they apply to provide you that information.
And your job is to ensure that it's done.
It's to ensure that it's done. If they fail to do so, what you need to do is to apply to us, to ensure we reach out to them, to ensure they provide you. But if they're still reluctant, that's the time we would have to institute, court action against them.
We are coming to your powers.
Penalties.
We're coming to your powers. It's got to be coming to that. I want to know what powers do you have?
But in essence, I don't want to go down that line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to know.
Yeah, because
what powers do you have?
Because I am of the fervent belief that when people are conscious of the fact that other citizens have a right, to access information, and that if they fail to do so, there will be consequences. They would voluntarily comply. And this is what, because I am of the belief, just like I'm working with the Media Council, and at some point in the past, I could recall when when somebody violates another person's right, and you come to the GPU, you reach out to some of these organizations, sometimes they are reluctant. But when we came up with the Media Council, we felt there was a need to sensitize people to know the consequences of not complying. And as a result, when I took over, I cannot recall any instance when somebody came and lodged a complaint against a media house and the person the particular media house organization did not comply. Because we had instances when we had to deal with even Kerfatu. And in all those instances, they complied. So I would want to believe that when we work to sensitizing, because going forward, what is profoundly important is to, GP is doing that, is to sensitize people on the Access to Information Act, as well as, that is sensitizing the public, as well as government bodies, as well as even some of the private institutions, that sometimes have access to government funds. Because let's take, for instance, there was a particular moment when the state decided to subsidize the media houses in the country. If, let's take, going forward, if Standard newspaper, Kerfadu, or any other organization is subsidized by the state, that organization is obliged to give a requester information pertaining to
that particular
thing.
The public fund given.
Yes, the public fund.
But don't you, your operations doesn't cover private entities? For example, I am the company, I have a company, Sanementering, whatever, and then there become issues between me and my employers, or between me and competing companies, and or something like that, and they need information from me, and I don't cooperate.
No, unless and until they have gotten funds from government.
It's only public.
For public funds,
you're after. People who are paid from public funds. Or institutions that are run from the public funds. Now, people believe, Charles, okay, this law is, like you said, conceived by journalists, and it's going to benefit only journalists. Because hardly a Gambian will find trouble or worthwhile, to go to look for information, because he would say, I either will not get it or they will not cooperate. So if that's in that kind of scenario, what will be the mandate? What is the mandate of your commission to ensure that public officials and the public know that there is now a law which now should really make it possible for me to access information from Mr. X, and he cannot necessarily deny it?
Well, this law has been passed almost 3 years ago, come this August or so, and it's
just now that the commission has been set up.
Yeah, well, in fact, the appointments were from March, but they had to go through confirmation of the National Assembly, and depending on the National Assembly schedules. But again, what happens now is that the setting up of the commission gives the private citizen the opportunity for redress. So if you go to seek information, you've made a point about it not only covering journalists, which is a fact. You know, sometimes, a good number of times, civil society, we write proposals. Sometimes you need some information from public bodies so that you can, you know, give a factual report as per, or the status quo to your potential partners. And sometimes that information is not forthcoming. But apart from just requesting for information, the law makes room for what we call proactive disclosure. In the commission is going to work with public bodies to ensure that every public body has an implementation plan of how access to information is going to be made available and for the public. So that what happens is, when the commission is fully operational, we would expect to see all public bodies have implementation plans and operational plans. How are you going to ensure that information is out there? What information is going to be proactively disclosed so that the public now can say, oh, this body had said they would proactively disclose A, B, C, D. They have not done so. We are calling them to account. And these information that is not disclosed, or the lack, the inability of the organizations or the institution to do that, could be reported to the commission, so that the commission will now be insisting that the public bodies do according to what the act demands. So if because violations have consequences, but as Emil said, you know, sometimes we in our thinking, what needs to happen is a lot of sensitization. But that doesn't mean that the commission will not take decisions according to, you know, the law. But we will also engage with the public bodies, ensure that there is a lot of information dissemination, there is a lot of an understanding of the act.
I guess that's where work starts.
No, we have our work already cut out for us. But again, you will remember that I think about a year or 2 years back, there had been information officers that have been appointed into all government offices. I believe part of that was in preparation for the implementation of the law. And so I believe, yes, the task is huge, and yes, there will be challenges, but the more people get to understand that the more you give out information, the less disinformation and misinformation out there, then the public bodies will discover that they are getting closer to the people, they are getting more accountable and more transparent. And that would make the relationship and the trust between the public bodies and the populace would make it stronger. And the absence of that would keep what we have currently, where, you know, people are so skeptical about public bodies, public officials, what they do, how they try to disclose information, what information should be shared, what should not be shared. But there is a lot, for me, there are a lot of positives that can come out of this if we just take a deep breath, look at where we are as a nation, how we must get closer, the public bodies must get closer to the populace, cool down the tensions by giving people the information that they need. I mean, apart from this, you have students that are writing their thesis or something. Sometimes you want simple information. And for no just cause, information is denied because somebody will say, this person is out of town, that person is not available, we cannot give. And I think there is also this, I don't know whether it is the follow-up of dictatorship that has affected our psyche, that, you know, people are just scared of giving out information. And as a member of civil society, I can tell you, I have engaged public officials a number of times, and I've asked them, this information you are keeping, do you know how it will tell well on your organization or your institution if only you let it out there? Because there are a lot of things that are happening, and people will tell you, well, we don't know, we don't know that this is happening.
Okay.
Okay.
Before the question, I'll come there because it now the logical question now is, because you said public institutions, as this include the police, the CIDs, the state intelligence agencies and security agencies. Now, the logical question now is, what sort of information will be allowed to be given out? Because even presently, even professional journalists have difficulties in accessing information that the security will always argue is bordered on security and confidential matters. Where do you draw the line? Emil.
Okay. I want to commend members of the armed and security forces for usually engaging in proactive disclosure of information.
Yes,
because
when have a forum.
Because when you compare, let's say, the Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the Gambia Police Force with the with some of the ministries, you will come to realize that in fact these people are more.
They're definitely
friendlier, in providing information to people
than any other.
Than this, civilian.
Although it depends on what sort of information at time.
No, but I can tell you.
But then they are generally more.
This is why
proactive when it comes to.
This is why I think it is important to decolonize the mindsets of some of the members of the armed and security forces. Particularly when it comes to the high command, usually when you deal with these people who are usually in the public relations offices, you would see that these people are people who understand what disclosing information to the public means, and of what benefit it is going to give to the organization and the public at large.
But the top brass,
so usually the top brass, usually these are
reluctant.
Not all of them, but a good percentage of them are people who are oriented in a in a colonial mentality, put it that way, because it's like the way our this is why there's need to have for us to execute this security reform, because there is need to change the mindsets of the way our members of the armed and security forces think. You have some of them who studied law, who understand what is lawful and what is not lawful. But you also have some who are very rigid, and this has likely to do with the way they are trained. So in going forward, I believe what we need to do is to make them understand that they are obliged to disclose information to the public. But I can tell to a large extent that my problem is not usually with members of the armed and security. Usually it is security outfit, because the civilian organizations or authorities. Because usually if you are a university student and you want to prepare your thesis, you usually struggle to get information from these public bodies, and this is why I believe most of these ministries and departments should work to emulating the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance, they're very good at disclosing information when you go to their website. I'm not saying they're perfect, because every organization has its shortcoming. But when you compare them with most of the ministries, you know that they're proactive in disclosing information. So in going forward, what we will do is to work with all these ministries to make them understand if the Ministry of Finance can do this thing regularly, disclosing information on their website, because you don't know, because usually the main reason why you come on the attack, or people criticize you, is because people think that you are shrouding everything in secrecy, because maybe you are engaged in something dubious or so. When in actual fact, you're only keep hoarding information, not because you think it would do harm to your organization or to yourself, but because you have you have this paranoia.
You don't feel obliged
yes,
to share
yes,
it.
but it's also you have this what you call this paranoia, because I mean, we, like John said, we transition from a dictatorship to a multi-party democratic system. Where some people feel that okay, we can't hold information, because if you do that, it can be used against us. So in going forward, there is the need to sensitize people, and members of the armed and security forces also. There is a need for us to work with them to make them understand that it is only information that could pose a threat to national security that they can classify it.
Okay.
And that information, when classified after 25 years, must be this thing was classified.
But the issue,
but then some of these, like I said, some of the top brass, for some reasons, will tell you, in fact, I could recall discussing. I was taken aback that day, meeting an Inspector General of Police, and in his office, and we were discussing, and he indicated to me that in fact, what we would start arresting journalists, because when we clamp down on journalists, they would tell us who are the disgruntled officers within the system who give information. Classified. And I cannot see what they call classified information.
That's what I'm telling you.
And what post, so, and what information the media houses.
No, if for instance, with the police, if a matter is under investigation, you really don't expect them to give you details of what is they can tell you that, okay, this matter is under investigation, but they will not be able to give you details because investigations are ongoing. And that should be understood. But again, for the police, there could be, like, for instance, disclosure of how many cases they have, how many are being investigated, how many are being prosecuted. So because sometimes people will sit and say the police are not doing anything.
Yeah,
so sometimes it's good to give that information out proactively, so that people will say, well, okay, we know that the police, and people will not be, saying this matter is it has been put under the carpet, it is this, it is that, but it is out there for people to know. That is
why when the confirmations from Parliament of your appointments and came about, you could see people who were commenting that, okay, maybe this commission's existence now been overtaken by time. During the Jammeh regime, there was definitely a need for this, and we knew it wouldn't work on the Jammeh's regime. It would have been difficult. But this government has put in place so many mechanisms to get information on the surface of it. For example, the appointment of information officers at all the ministries, the now newly introduction of the Mansa Kunda, the frequent press conferences and stuff like that. They were arguing that perhaps your commission come much too late now. There are now free flow of information that will make it now. Your commission is overtaken by time. It was much needed on the Jammeh's time. It was conceived on the Jammeh's time. But before it came into place, I mean, its jobs, its mandate and operations have all been absorbed by the various policies that this new government put in place, which they said allow free flow of information. Do you argue that your commission come much too late to have an effective, meaningful work in the midst of now, like I said, conceivably now there are a lot of free flow of information from government to public?
I believe in even very strong democracies where you would expect all information to be out. There are information establishments, commissions in place. Unless and until the people saying that can tell us that any time they request for information from public bodies, they have it at their doorsteps, then we can say the establishment of the commission is irrelevant. But before they arrive at that judgment, and this is what is interesting about Gambia. We just make assertions. We don't test the systems. How many people that are saying this have gone to request for information, and it is given to them.
And this is now a law. Your commission.
And yeah, but this is what I'm saying, that there is information that should be proactively disclosed. That you don't even need, that if a student is doing research, they can go to a ministry's website, a public body's website, and it is there.
Yeah.
How functional are the websites of our public bodies?
Apart from finance ministry.
Well, so I mean, even if that was the only reason to establish the commission, you get me. So there is, and people, you know, and we are a growing. The advent
of the commission makes it law now, and you know, it's now obligatory.
And this the commission enhances transparency and accountability of public bodies to the people. You know, and the commission reports to the National Assembly.
Okay.
So there is an annual report that is expected to be submitted to the National Assembly, stating the work, bodies that have not complied, those that have complied, decisions the commission has taken. So this helps to a very large extent, that if the National Assembly has need to now call public bodies to inquire why A and B is not being done, why they are not compliant, that can be done. And the commission can even institute legal action. So that, I mean, and also penalties. You know, but you know, it's not, the commission has not been established to witch hunt. The commission has been established to enhance access to information and make it, the act says it is now a right for the public to access public information, public records, documentation, everything that should be out, that the public should get to know, they should know. So there is nothing shrouded in secrecy, apart from things that are classified.
Okay, to add on that, to add to what I think, if you look at, if you go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and you engage with them, because I had the opportunity to be at the Foreign Affairs Ministry, I think 2 months ago or so, with my colleagues, and in the process, during our engagement with them, we discovered that they're doing a lot, but they are not putting it out there. So, and sometimes that does disservice even to their respective institutions, because people will be there criticizing them for things that they have already, in fact, executed. So, and I think this is why, like I said, if all of them emulate what the Ministry of Finance is doing, you have less criticisms coming from the public out there, because once you engage in proactive disclosure of information, people wouldn't criticize you, because it's like when information is there and I can go to the website and access it, there wouldn't be room for rumors or misinformation and disinformation. Okay, I can also recall there was an instance when we had a guest, from Kenya. When we went to the airport to receive the guest, we were told by the immigration officer on the ground that the guest must, have a clearance. That Kenya is one of those countries where if you are coming
direct entry, clearance. You don't need a visa, but clearance.
Yeah, clearance. So, but this was unknown to us, and I can tell you, the vast majority of Gambians don't know the countries,
that they can visit without visa.
The citizens of other countries that can visit Gambia, without, are needed to have a clearance. So, but if the immigration put it out there on their website, you wouldn't. If you are inviting somebody to come to Gambia, you wouldn't go to the airport and be told that in fact this is what they should have done. In fact, the individual would know that in fact, I'm entitled to. I should have this thing. What is your name again? A clearance. Before going.
Of course, because Kenya declares no visa for all Africans, so they might think that.
Maybe just to add to that quickly. Added to, not only immigration, but how many Gambians know what exactly is required to get your national documents? Is there any place that you would go and you would, whether it's on the immigration, on the wall or on the website, that you need for your ID card, you need ABCD. For your passport, you need ABCD. Because people keep going and they tell you, okay, you need this, you go back. They tell you need this, you go back. So what this helps to do is to tell everybody, even before you could go to a website and know what you need to do, ABCD, and you don't need to pay your fare to go all the way to Banjul to go and be told this. You go back to your village to get this document. But and this is what enhances the public trust, because it also removes all these on the ground thing that people middlemen people are trying to manipulate the system. And if people begin to see, I believe honestly, I have interacted a lot with public officials, just like Emil is saying, a lot is happening in this country
and it's not being communicated,
but it is not being communicated.
So now if the public officials are sitting on a treasure of information that would help their image and make their job easy, if they're not doing that, with this act and your commission, they will now be obliged to do it.
That is exactly it.
Very
so
good.
it will, and it will, the commission will monitor whether they are following what the act says, whether they are in line. We would make recommendations for improvements in for putting the framework for information to be accessible.
Isn't your commission also going to give license to self-appointed journalists who will be trying to be probing into public institutions' everyday work, say in the name of access to information? How does somebody looking for information should conduct him or herself?
No, John, I can't. What I want to
blame the devil.
The point I want to emphasize here is the fact the main reason why usually people have engaged in inquisition is because there is no information out there. I can tell you if you usually if you put the information out there on the website, the likelihood there wouldn't be even the need for individual to go there in the first place. So some people always want to some not journalists, but let's say individuals always want to play to the gallery, to be seen to be doing something great or something important. Okay, I'm holding these people to account. But then I believe if you are proactively disclosing information, that would keep them at bay, because the information that you want to get from the public body, once it is out there, there wouldn't be any need to go and request for it, because even if you get it, what are you going to use it for? Because if you're doing it because you want to play to the gallery to make people believe that you are holding public officials to account, people would have already got that information. So this is why I believe that there is a need to engage these public bodies and individuals to making sure that they understand that by proactively disclosing information, they are doing it for the public good and for their own image as well. Let's take, for instance, most Gambians do not know that if you want to travel to Senegal, you can use your ID card and travel by flight. Most Gambians don't know. You can. You can. Yeah. So because a lot of Gambians think that you must get a passport. But
but isn't that needs explanation, because obviously
there's no explanation to that.
If you are coming to, in most cases, if you are coming to your country, that's when outside the passport they accept any kind of emergency traveling.
No,
but like what you said is interesting. Well, most people would think that you will need a passport and not an ID card to go to West Africa.
No, the neighboring country is your neighboring country.
But it cannot be ECOWAS.
No.
But
You can use laissez-passer. The immigration can issue with laissez-passer to fly from Gambia to any West African country. I did that. I was issued a laissez-passer. Not even an ID card or a passport. I want a laissez-passer. And I traveled from
ID.
Yes, it was issued by the immigration, and I flew
but they
from.
call it the ECOWAS ID card.
Valid for? Valid for
only for that trip. Yeah.
So if you want to move from another place, you have to find another.
Because it was meant purposely for my
an
trip to Ghana.
emergency.
For an emergency. So how many Gambians know that? So this is why I'm saying, because it's like even in traveling with traveling to Senegal by flight, you can always do it using an ID card.
Well, I know that
even coming from Senegal by ID card, you can't.
Well, that's much easier nowadays. What is practically
no, even on the Jammy, and even on the Jammy, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, much easier to come to your country with anything outside passport. What is practically possible?
You can even go by.
But today, if you move to the Banjul airport and you bought a ticket from Air Senegal and move to the airport, said I'm flying this, you go to check in, you put your ID card, they will turn you down.
No. With an ID card.
In cases.
No, they will not. They will not. The immigration.
I'm just saying, in the event that you are turned down and use the passport you need, what do you happen?
No, they wouldn't turn it down because the immigration no, that is allowed. Because
they know that it's allowed.
They do know it's allowed.
But you see, but this is what we are saying.
Yeah.
So that information should be out there for the public to know.
Okay. That's quite an interesting
So it answers the question to the people that are talking about the commission being overtaken by events.
Yes. Now let's go into one by one. I found interesting bits, and I want you to take advantage of this program to explain the mandates of the commission from one or two sections in there. For example, what is the main function of the commission?
Well, there is a let me just read one powers and duties. That's section 54, subsection 1. It says the commission shall have the power to determine the nature, process, and undertaking necessary to discharge its mandate in terms of this act, including all work necessary for the promotion, monitoring, and protection of the right of access to the information, the right to access information. So this is the protection that the commission gives. Yeah. That now, if you come as a private citizen, or a private person, organization, you want information, we have to protect your right to access that information. So the whole mandate of this commission is that to do that, and to do that now has many different aspects, like proactively disclosing, having implementation plans for these public bodies, so that and that is put out there, so everybody knows that Ministry X, this is how they plan to implement access to information to the public. And the public now can hold them accountable. But you said in your implementation plan ABCD, we have not seen this. And this is why I keep saying that it helps. There is a lot of misgiving about governments across the world. Okay. But if you have this in place, then it helps you. And even if you are reluctant to give out information, and we come, because we can also do mediations.
Okay.
Yeah, we can also, that's part of the mandate, to bring an understanding between parties and say, look, this thing,
party looking for information and the one holding.
And the one holding the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, the point I also want to emphasize, which I think is very important for the public to know, is the fact that information holders are obliged to help the disabled in accessing information.
Okay.
So, for instance, if I am visually impaired, and I want to apply for information, the information or the public, the information officers, I apply, under the Information Act to help me apply for the information.
Okay.
It's not like where a situation where you have an ordinary individual who want to apply information, and then he or she can put it in writing and apply automatically, and be provided with information. Here the law is saying that if the person is a disabled person and he or she has difficulty applying, or requesting for information, you, the public officer, you are obliged under Section 13(2) to help him request for the information or apply for the information.
Okay.
So it means even the right of the disabled person or individuals are protected under the law, which I think is marvelous in my view. And I think and I want to commend the individual that drafted the law, as well as the National Assembly members also, for having this provision in place.
Apart from the National Assembly, to which authority is this commission answerable?
We're under the law. We are an independent body, but we are mandated, like any public body, to appear before the National Assembly every year.
Are you too like the National Human Rights? Because I see the parliamentarians compares a lot of things with the National Human Rights, including the millions of dollars. I don't speak in terms of remunerations. The public have been outraged by what has been proposed for MPs, executive ministers, and judicial officers. We heard you people are also going to pay millions. All of you have been very vocal in defending the rights of the individual in the street there. Are we going to have the same Charles John Njie now, fighting for every bit of it now that you are commissioner?
Well, let me be very clear. I have never. I have in fact, in my engagements with the National Assembly, and some National Assembly members can bear me witness, that I have said I would be ready to lead civil society to advocate for a better remuneration package. This was years back for the National Assembly, for the simple reason.
But what about the layman in the state?
No, but wait. You know what you can talk about the layman in the street, and I agree. The salary structure in this country, both private sector and public sector, it's appalling.
The disparity.
Yeah, the disparity. I mean, and I mean, even the salary for those that are down
the
there.
nurses and the teachers.
I mean, yes. But what I was also saying, I have never had a problem with people being remunerated very well. And I have said that over and over. Because for the National Assembly, for instance, the reason I was always advocating for them to be paid well is because there was a time in this country, National Assembly members were so poorly paid, they would go to ministers' offices for fuel, help with transport, and whatever, And if you go to someone you are to hold accountable, and that person is doing you a service, how can you hold them accountable? So that was my point. Secondly, look at commissions that have been established in this country.
Yes.
All commissions that are established in this country, that are ad hoc commissions, no one is paid less than 100,000.
Yeah.
Commissioners.
Yeah. But
we've had they're ad hoc, but this is going to be permanent. And then this act says that the commissioners are not allowed to do any trade or engage in any other profession. So if I have done over 25 years in civil service, in civil society, I can have consultancies that pay me more than this.
Yes.
So if I am now restricted, what do you want me to do?
No, I'm not.
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying that sometimes the argument that the public makes,
I'm not talking about
it is quite understandable.
I'm not talking about the kind of money that we paid to you. Well, you may your workmen.
No, I will continue. I will continue to advocate.
Will we ever hear John Charles Njie, with activists shouting for this and shouting for that?
I would always stand for the defense of the masses. And I have said this over and over and over again. The pay scale in this country is poor, both the private and the public sector. You go to hotels, you go to the hospitality industry. You know how much they pay our Gambian brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
You go to,
Returns.
I mean, the services.
No, go
the nurses, the police.
Yeah, the argument,
you know.
The argument
so
is
I mean,
the disparity.
look,
Like,
I have.
while it is not bad at all, given the nature of your job, you'll be restricted to do anything else. You can only be a commissioner now, where you can get money.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all well that you paid $140,000 per month. Okay, but the policeman. Listen, the policeman, the teacher, the argument is whether or not you are well paid is not an argument because of your job, but the disparity between the policeman who's 4,200 and the teacher who is 4,200 and you're 140,000, how many policemen can you pay now?
No, but
so that is where the argument is. Not you have been paid. So you in the civil service at the time.
So the people that are earning in other areas.
Yeah.
In the private sector and everything.
Yeah.
Do you keep saying that
no,
because I can pay
the private sector?
No, but no,
the private sector have.
You are being paid for services.
No, but the private sector have.
Okay, let me take it this way. Let me take it this way. Whether we are earning and being able to pay a policeman this amount of time.
In your case, you can pay 10 to 14 policemen.
You can what you are earning now. You can pay 3 or 4 or 5, 6 or 10 times. Somebody else can pay 20. Somebody else can pay. What I'm saying,
determined by
this is how society
determined by my company. This is independent. We are not talking about public ones.
No,
if we have to share public spoils, the spoils. That's what we are
but this is what
the argument.
Our advocacy should be. Let there be a comprehensive salary or remuneration review. Yes, because what we have said, I mean, as civil society before, the 30% across the board was not really fair. Because if someone is earning 3,000, you do 30%.
You basically give them only
you take them to 4. If somebody is earning 100,000, you give them 130,000. So some common sense is those that are down, give them a higher percentage raise.
Exactly.
Because until you begin to close the disparity, you know, then there is going to always be chaos in society. And you know, you will have people. I mean, the anger is understood, and nobody is saying that. I mean, I will not be comfortable sleeping when I know all the people around me are in poverty.
Absolutely.
You know, so I believe there is what we should advocate for as a nation is let there be a review, a comprehensive review. Let us look at, as a nation, how do we close these gaps? But
when we were publishing your clearance from Parliament, there was the issue about the salaries. They said the salaries of the Commission of Human Rights Commission should be the same. And then we come to a point and say, look, is it necessary to put in exactly what they earn? And then somebody said, no, salaries are kept, there are information that should be kept confidential. Somebody said, look, these people who are supposed to be people who will facilitate access to information, if they complain about hiding their salary, where do we go? Okay. I said nobody. I told them nobody will complain.
No, but let me say this. If the head of state, his salary is out there, why should the salaries of other people in the country be hidden?
If I go now with the advent of the commission, empowered by the commission, and I want to know the salary of a public official, and said, no, this is confidential.
No, but if you go to the
I think like tell John in the run-up.
Those kind of information where they can say this is personal and confidential.
No. I think Cham in the run-up to this thing, I asked John. I told him from the outset that I don't have a problem with the National Assembly members. You know, I mean, deliberating on our this thing, again, and our salary, as well as according to that, as well as you know, I mean, for the journalists to pick it up and put it out there, because you are prepared, you know, because the fact of the matter is, let's be realistic.
Absolutely.
The fact of the matter is, we are supposed to facilitate access to information.
So you cannot.
So we cannot be. It's just like the National, Human Rights Commission. They are supposed to, uphold, promote human rights.
All rights.
So they are also obliged to.
But there are certain rights they don't want to discuss.
No, but you cannot. No. There's no. You cannot. we cannot engage in cherry picking.
Exactly.
We cannot engage in cherry picking. You know, you and I are sitting here. If we want to know the salary of a Gambian footballer, all that we need to do is just to go online and find it. So and if you want to enhance transparency, we shouldn't have a problem with people knowing what we are paid. Exactly. You know, for me, I don't have a problem with that. You know, and this is why I want to believe. In fact, if you follow the argument of the lawmakers, at some point, what was proposed by the minister was reduced by the committee. Okay. So when it was reduced by the committee, it was substantially reduced.
Which minister? The Minister of Justice?
The Minister of Information. The Minister of Information.
What was proposed was bigger than this?
No, this is what was proposed, but it was reduced substantially by the committee. Okay. So when the committee...
Who restored it?
No, when the committee reduced it and it came up and they reported to plenary, the lawmakers felt, you know, that because we are being restricted
from doing anything else.
Because even if I were to engage in agriculture, I can only engage in it for personal consumption.
But you cannot do it.
I cannot engage in agriculture and sell my produce for commercial purpose.
No, you're restricted.
You know, because at some point people are kind of like, no, this didn't restrict you. But I understand why we are being restricted from doing other jobs or engaging in gainful activities. And this is largely owing to the fact that assuming that we are engaged in consultancy, and that particular institution has something to do with government, and there is an individual out there who wants to know what that particular institution, money it receives with government, or what their dealings with government is. And I personally had a contract with them. There will be conflict of interest. It's just like judges. Judges are not allowed to engage in anything. So, and this is why I felt that some of them felt, no, let's pay them well. So there would be conflict of interest. Because if they are allowed to do other gainful activities, they could be corrupted. And this is why I think the National Assembly members felt that provision must be kept, and we must be well remunerated.
In fact,
that I understand.
There was even argument by the National Assembly that we should not be benchmarked against the Human Rights Commission, because the Human Rights Commission, their act permits doesn't have a restriction.
They can do anything. Even where they can get money.
Yes.
We're just like judges. We cannot like judges.
That's the thing. But again, your point is well noted, and I don't think any of us is happy that. I don't think in this country anybody will say no to a better salary. The discussion should rather be and an advocacy and an appeal to government.
No,
for I'm saying
what I'm trying to point out is that would anybody hear Charles now being at the forefront of fighting for the interests of the common man?
That is you see,
Charles the activist and Charles now the vice chairman of the commission. Are they the same Charles now?
This is the same. I have said this over and over. I have done over 25 years in civil society. I have always advocated for rights. Now I have an opportunity to help in the implementation and the protection of rights.
Very good.
What I have even a short note I've written to civil society. Now it's your turn to hold us accountable, to ensure that we protect your rights to access information. Life is transitions. Now I cannot be.
I think this person has, in fact, rather place you now in more authority.
But that is exactly the thing. Because you see, look, one of the frustrations of civil society is this. You see the need to do this. You see the sense in doing it. You talk to public officials, please let's do it this way. And they refuse to do it because of for whatever reason. And sometimes maybe we disagree, we get frustrated because what we see as it being done in that way, they are not doing it that way. Now we have an opportunity, I have an opportunity in my core beliefs in defense of rights, now to come and put it in the fore. Now, if someone wants me to be going out there and be fighting with government, and anything government does, I tell them, they are, no. I have always been a very objective civil society member.
Let's look at the institutions. You're covering everybody. Some of these institutions.
No, not everybody, please.
Everybody in the public.
Well, yeah, and part of the private that has to do with public.
Most of the areas that will, give excuses of confidentiality or sensitivity and stuff like that. We talk about the security institutions. Luckily, as Emily have said, they have really put a robust way of sharing information, and that's fairly acceptable. But institutions like the IEC, for example, I remember a prominent member of the community requesting to have the voter register, and he was told, no, we don't share this with non-stakeholders. We don't share this with non-stakeholders. So what will be
who are the stakeholders?
Well, the IEC.
No, who the IEC said they don't share it.
Yes, non-stakeholders. Yes.
No, but then the person should ask the IEC who are the stakeholders, because the
stakeholders are for the IEC is concerned, the political parties and stuff like that.
But this is the.
So I'm bringing you that because that was prominent. That you must have heard that the prominent member of the society wanted to know it, and he was told, no, we don't share this with the stakeholders.
But I think that individual should have just told the IEC that, look, I am a stakeholder.
He tried.
Everyone.
It's DAO. He said, he wrote it very. He said it publicly about it that he could not get it.
Well, but
in this case, what do we do? Can I now, even now, the voter register, apart from the political parties, representatives, I cannot have it. You cannot have it. You walk in there now, and maybe with your coming into effect, probably that will change.
Well,
you walk in there, you cannot get it.
Well, let's test the system.
That is one.
I believe, Mr. Cham, as I always have said, even during my work with civil society, our problem in this country is that we don't test our laws enough. If certain things were not challenged in the courts, especially in this new dispensation, we would have never known that certain things are possible. And it's the same thing. I mean, when the early days of the Human Rights Commission, and there were some abuse from the security services, and a particular matter that I sat as part of the task force, a particular matter of a security official abusing a gentleman, and the matter was brought before the commission and all that, and investigated, and a decision was taken. You would have never thought that in this country a security officer would violate the rights of an individual and be penalized, and the person be compensated. But it was done because it was challenged. What we would ask the Gambian public to do when the commission is fully established is to test the system. Test the system. Because, we are always very skeptical. They can be, they don't join information. Test the system. And that is why part of our mandate is to do a lot of engagement across the country, a lot of engagement with the public officials, make recommendations and ensure that the act is fully operational.
Okay, Emil, let's go a little bit down on the mandate and the function, or we come to what the frequently asked questions. Where are you people going to have your office, please?
We currently we've identified a place.
Oh yeah, where is the place?
But then to be honest with you, we are working to getting that place.
That information cannot be accessed.
No. The fact of the matter is so conclusive. No, it's fragile, but it's so conclusive.
Yeah.
And because the fact of the matter is, we are yet to be what is it again? Sworn in, so
I know, but at least there must be a
so we're working with the
the ministry has identified a location somewhere in.
So, but we are.
You haven't seen it with your own eyes yet.
We've seen it.
Yes, we've seen it. But then we've
been taken to the place. We've seen the place. Yeah, well, it's with the limited resources.
Yeah. Limited resources.
No,
It's going to be a two-floor.
No, it's accessible. The thing is,
it suits our purposes.
The parliamentarians compared with the Human Rights Commission, who has a fabulous, magnificent.
Yeah, well, the Human Rights Commission in its establishment had a lot of support from international partners. Well, we would, you know, there are a lot of possibilities.
Okay.
And the higher road is.
Did the Act allow you to source funding from any of them? Like, for example, if there are, of course, there are a lot of international institutions who are very, very, very friendly to, work. Institutions such as yours. Does the Act allow that?
Yeah, we will have to resource.
No, are you talking to me? You're not supposed to do anything. But I'm saying, anything other than your work. I'm saying, does the Act allow you to source?
I can't remember it being specified, but I mean, you know, with the. But I believe that we should be able
that's an area you should
resource
explore.
mobilize. I don't think there is anything wrong with you being able to mobilize resources to ensure that you do your work.
Yeah. Because I mean,
we would definitely
in the national budget, the Human Rights Commission, to which you've been compared by the parliamentarians, have their own budget. You're going to have your own budget.
Yes, ultimately. Ultimately.
Why not now?
Well, you cannot just start, and there are a lot of things to.
But the provision is there, isn't it?
No, but the Human Rights Commission started under the Ministry of Justice.
But they've always had a budget of their own.
No, everything was under the Ministry of Justice for a time.
Until they got a budget of their own.
Until they.
Not right away.
Not right away. It's a process.
And they also have National Human Rights 1. I want to soon we will sing AIC 1 and 2.
Well,
AIC.
No. There is nothing.
AIC.
There is nothing called AIC.
NHRC.
No. The parliamentarian said the law calls it an information commission. Not an access to information commission.
There should be IC1. I'm hoping to see you drive. My man believes IC3.
Larry, stop destroying my man. You're destroying my man, Larry.
IC2. I'll look at that.
I think that needs to be also clear, because I've had people say the ATI commission, but the Act calls it information commission.
Oh, okay. So it's information commission. Okay, all right. So place have been identified in Fajara.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
I mean, you said it earlier. We have our work cut out for us.
Absolutely.
But what has helped us so far? I mean, we've done a lot of underground work.
Okay, yeah.
And
and of course, with journalists in the board, rather in the commission, you already know.
But there is a lot, and we will need the support of the public.
Absolutely.
The government has shown great commitment. I'm happy to say that the Minister of Information, he is very, very supportive, and I believe if this partnership continues this way, a lot would be achieved, and very soon Gambia would be on the map of one of the countries where our democracy is being strengthened, and you have a more transparent and accountable government. You know, because if the Information Commission is allowed to do its work, I believe we will be on the map in Africa and across the world as one of the very strong emerging democracies, because there is a lot of potential. I mean, as I said, during working in civil society, you know, there are many times I have had to hold brief for government. And sometimes people will say you are too pro-government, you know. Yeah, I mean, but it's just my objectivity. If I know something is happening, if I know something is in the works, if I've been present, I cannot be, you know, saying nothing is being done.
Yeah.
When I know something is being done, because I was there when it was being done. It's just that it has not gone out. You know, it's like when we talk about security sector reform.
Yeah.
You know, there are things that are happening on the security sector reform.
Absolutely.
You know, but if somebody sits and say nothing is being done,
Because
and I was at a workshop where there was a discussion on setting up a commission for the police.
Yeah.
You know, made up of civilians, and so that, you know, it will be an added layer to check what the police does. Exactly. Then I said, well, there is nothing being done. There is a discussion.
Yeah, because like you said, not much has been available
out
to the
there.
public out there. Because I've often told the public official, the government, I said we had a meeting with the president, and one of the things I raised in that was, it is the obligation. It is the government that owes people explanation. You know, it is, if government is explaining its action every day, there will be no need, in fact, for suspicions or for questions and etc. etc. Yeah. It is the government that owes people explanation. And you know, sometimes you will hear people talk about an issue in public domains, and you as the officer responsible, you will be saying, hey, these people don't know what they are talking about. They don't know because you don't tell them what you're supposed to tell them.
Yeah.
So if you see them discussing things and you find that they are not authoritative, what they are saying are not authoritative, and you get angry and say, these people don't know what the issues are. How can they know? Because they don't know what you know, and you are supposed to let the public know.
No, in one of my discussions, just quickly, in one of my discussions with one of the advisors to the president, you know, he told me, I had one program, and he told me, he said, look, the president has told them, go out and explain to the public what you are doing. There is nothing that they should be afraid of. And this is an opportunity to ensure that public officials come out and tell, and this is not only government, I mean, per se.
Everywhere.
This is going to be, I mean, to the SOEs, you know, to, you know, I mean, the councils, you know, because
every day
information should be out there.
Any decision they take on behalf of the public.
So if you have budgeted something,
out and say,
if you have budgeted something for this vicinity, you know, then, I mean, there is the issue of the constituency allowance.
Yeah, that's right.
How many people know what is happening?
Yeah, they didn't know.
How is it being used?
It became a big issue.
Yeah, so these things are things that should be out there. Constituency, this has been the allocation. This is what has been used.
For all I know,
this is what it is used for.
For all I know, some MPs might think it's for their pocket.
No, but the National Assembly Services has, as I've learned some time back, they have certain criteria before that is being disbursed. So you have to identify a project and everything. And you know, so, but this should be out there for the public to know.
Absolutely. And the Information Commission definitely will help, you know.
I mean, there is a lot of work on our heads.
Yes, I think I must say that I would want to commend the Minister of Information for this initiative that he has undertaken by holding what he calls Mansakunda or Mansakunda. Yes, which is, I think, it's a brilliant initiative. I would want to encourage the media houses as well to ensure that the people that they identify to go to that Mansakunda.
Well, the minister said, in fact, he was angry with that. The journalists don't even turn up there.
You know, exactly. Yeah. So I would want to encourage the media houses to ensure that the journalists that they identify to go there are people who understand issues. You know, so that when they go there, they will know the type of questions to ask. Because sometimes you attend some of these press conferences, instead of the journalists posing a question, the journalist would be making a statement. He or she wouldn't know, you know what.
Well, I don't think I have sent anybody yet. So I'm trying to reconcile the idea of getting people paid $5 million to promote government agenda. Select media houses. I'm still recovering from that. If I recover from that, then I will start sending people there. But I want the arguments. We don't want to go there. You know, like you said, it's very good. We don't want to go there and start picking quarrels with the officials. We don't want that. What we want is to listen and ask questions from what they deliver and what people have said about them if they are not already addressed that. That's why we don't go there for picking quarrels. That will defeat the purpose.
No, what I would want to encourage you people to do is to send journalists out
Who
there.
knows the issue.
Yeah, because
especially the area, the ministry, particular ministries.
Because if you do not do that, what you would be doing would be to be reactive to to what government does.
Exactly.
So what I would want to encourage you to do is to send people out there and let the people who people who understand issues, so that they would they would pose the questions to the ministers that are there, so that the public would get to know what these people are doing. So that aside. Okay, because it is essentially important, particularly when it has to do with finance. And I would encourage, like I could recall when I was a young journalist, in those days, people like D.A. Jawo, Swaibu Konate, they would go to press conferences.
Absolutely. No,
so and nowadays it's like
senior people.
Nowadays you really go to the ground and you see people like Lavin Cham.
Well, I have.
Because Lavin would understand issues. Some Lavin would know what type of questions to pose. But when you
but we watch. Actually, even if we send junior reporters, it ended up in our desk and. We watch everything. Masako, I've never been there, but I've never. No single episode escaped me. I watch everything.
Besides
the British part.
Besides what is your name again? Following what is going on there. I think it's profoundly important that you either go there or you send somebody competent enough to go there.
Well, I told you there have been considerations as to whether we should pick bones with the minister for paying people, and not across the board. We are putting it aside now.
No, that is something else.
In the interest of the nation.
No, that is something else.
Put that quarrel.
That is something else. So I think that is profoundly important that you send people. That aside, I would also want to because I could recall in those days when. Batambidi was Minister of Justice. He ensures that he holds a press conference on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, which was
the
Justice Ministry.
Now that doesn't happen.
No,
maybe the Masakunda will.
Yes, but the Masakunda is a very brilliant initiative. Absolutely. But I would want to encourage the minister, the relevant ministers to make sure that they do what Batambidi used to do.
Yes.
So that they hold regular press conferences because
it would help them sensitize the people.
Exactly.
The bills they come out.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes that's just like the and I think like I was telling somebody in the National Assembly the other day, and I said it is profoundly important that the people who bring these bills in ministries engage the public, sensitize them about the bills, because if you do not do that, the likelihood
of them being rejected or public reaction being negative.
Exactly, because I when you look at what was being peddled out there pertaining to these two bills are different from what the contents of these two bills are. Because I could recall when it was first put out there, I was with somebody that works with the National Assembly, and he was called by somebody to say, "Oh, look at this is what they're doing. So we must react." So I think what the people who bring these bills need to do is to sensitize people, so that when they sensitize people, let them buy radio programs. Talk to people not only in English, in local languages, in Mandinka, Wolof.
For example, the issue about the judicial commissions bill, the judicial officers bill, like you rightly said, as judges, they are not expected to do anything. They cannot raise money from people, and they do a job that is unique in many senses. They cannot mingle with the people. They need some protection, even though the state is providing all that. But if you compare it to other jurisdictions, they are not getting paid enough. That's the argument. That's what. And people here in this country found it. People with the knowledge, requisite knowledge, don't find it attractive. So that's why you have backlog of cases, because the personnel are not there. People in the private practice, people like Lavin Kamara, if you made him Chief Justice, he will not take it. Because probably he's getting more money. I just mentioned him as an example.
Don't mention them.
So you need to pay them well. But then the issue is they don't help themselves, because when we analyzed the bill and said, okay, this bill seeks to enhance the payment of judges. And now the minister, no, that's not what is it. That's not what is it. The ultimate objective is to enhance the payment so that people can find it worthwhile to do it. But if you start denying what you are looking for, you're confusing everybody.
No, I think if you,
I know the National Assembly bill, okay, that may not be adding any new money, but again, they want to cater for MPs who might have died or who might have started their 5-year term at the middle or in the beginning, for all to have gratuity. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, but even with that,
yes.
I mean, there is, I think in a lot of establishments, that there is provision to cater for death, in service.
Yes.
So, because one time I had somebody saying, why should the families of National Assembly members be catered for when the National Assembly member dies?
So that's what they don't understand.
But that is exactly the point.
Yeah.
And this is why it is going to, one of the positives about the access to information law is there has been a lot of sensitization across the country.
Yes.
And I think that would help if bills are being developed. One, let it be a consultative process. Because the Judicial Service Bill, I think if the judiciary had maybe interacted with civil society, brought an understanding with journalists, an understanding of what...
The mistake the draft makers always make is that they tend to prevent thorough analysis and public discussion of the bills.
Yeah.
You see, that is where the problem is.
If that engagement was there, they would have been able to take on board the misgivings of...
I always find them reluctant.
Yeah.
Bills that they suspect that might attract or draw the attention of people in a negative way, they tend to protect that from thorough scrutiny of people, and that can be counterproductive. Because if you bring it fresh before everybody understands, the misconceptions will surface. But if you had allowed people to discuss it and they look at the ration d'etat, people will come to a consensus and say, look, this is necessary.
I think that there are two things that I want to emphasize on. One of the things is that I think what we those of us in civil society need to do is to make sure that we always try to obtain, try to look at what obtains in other jurisdictions. That would help, best practices. That would help us to making sure that we change a lot of things for the public good. If you go to a country like Senegal, if you're working in the public sector and you have a child, whether you are a policeman, whether you are a custom officer, whether you are a military personnel, once you are married, they will start paying your wife. They pay your kids. We do not have that type of situation in this country. So what we need to do is, you need resources to do that, and this is why we need to, as civil society actors, we need to, be proactive, in coming up with, initiatives. We do not only have to wait for the government to come up with its own agenda. When we must always make sure we, come up with our own agenda and try to sell to government. Well, because when we do that, it's like that would also help government. It also, to come up with good policies. Because I think no Gambian would reject a situation where a serving National Assembly member dies, and the government wants to pay gratuity to the spouse of the dead National Assembly member. I don't think so. But then, what we need to do is to, as civil society actors, is to avoid a situation where we are, we transform ourselves to reactionary, individuals. When government comes with something, we do not even make comparisons. You just, jump to conclusion. What we need to do is to make sure we do not have to wait for government to come up with it. Let's devise, let's discuss, let's explore what obtains in other places, and tell government, okay, this country has this particular policy, and this particular policy, let's say economic policy, this particular economic policy, if implemented here, it will be for the public good. So that we do not only, because like we're talking about increasing salaries. Okay, when you do not increase salaries, what is likely to happen is, like I always say, and would keep on emphasizing it. If you don't pay those in the public sector very well, they will engage in corruption.
Absolutely.
Imagine, the person is paid 2,500, 3,000.
And there are people in the system who are still paying.
Yeah, so what we need to do is to work to making so that, if you only keep on emphasizing salary increment without telling government, you must either work to getting investors to come and invest in this country so that you can tax them and get money, or you come up with your own initiative where you go as a government, you invest into something that will generate income for you. Because otherwise, if you keep on taxing people, you have inflation.
Absolutely.
If you also increase without getting the resources out there, it means you will also tax.
Absolutely.
So what do we do? This is why as civil society actors, I think there are sometimes, I'm a civil society actor, but I'm sometimes critical of the civil society.
Absolutely.
Because I do not believe that we should always wait for when donors have money there. I know what I'm saying would go down well with people, but that's me. But I can be critical of government, and I can take government to court. But also, I think as civil society, we must also be proactive.
Absolutely.
So the civil society is doing a lot of good work out there. But I think we need to double up our efforts so that we do not only sit there on our laurels and wait for react. Sometimes the reaction, if myself and my colleagues, yes, if myself and my colleagues sat there and said, "No, we are waiting for government to come up with an access to information law," there's a likelihood that we wouldn't have still got an access to information law.
It started from the
there are. It's like if you look at the Public Finance Act, that you realize that there are loopholes in the Public Finance Act. If you also see what is currently coming out of the local government, what's the name again, Commission of Inquiry. You also realize that there are loopholes in the local government public finance and public act. So therefore, we need to look at as civil society. Let's start looking at these instruments and compare it what obtains in other countries and see where we can make improvement, so that we do not only keep on crying over spilled milk.
Exactly. Well, gentlemen from the Information Commission, your final words about your job, the obligation of the public and the authorities, because I think that's very important.
Well,
Vice Chair.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Cham, once again for having us. It's been a very interesting discussion. But as we said earlier, we are here to, as a commission, to ensure that the rights of the public to access information from the information holders is guaranteed, is protected. So the commission would call on the support, the collaboration of all and sundry to ensure that its work is done. But also the commission appeals that you hold it accountable. And we are going to ensure that we are very transparent and above board, because I believe in leadership by example. And we all of us believe that in the commission. In fact, whenever we meet, we keep saying, look, we have to make sure we lead by example. And so we would be very transparent, and we hope that the public bodies will not see us as a threat. Rather, they will see us as the engine that would facilitate and make their work easier and have less criticism. Yeah, I mean, if documents are down out there, it will be scrutinized. Questions will be asked. But it will help you also, if you are developing other contracts, policies, to remember and have it at the back of your mind that you'll be questioned on A, B, C, D. So you improve. And I believe that's how development takes place. You did something, you didn't do it 100%. Let the people say, well, you didn't do this, why was this not there? And you give your justifications. Next time you do it, you take into consideration the public opinion and do it better. And this is what I believe that would help us as a nation. Sometimes, yes, the noise is much, and definitely there needs to be noise. we have to hold government accountable, but this is a mechanism that holds the public bodies accountable, and it makes us a stronger democracy.
When do you expect your swearing?
Well, the Minister of Information would let us know.
Where will you be sworn? At State House?
Well,
at the ministry?
possibly.
But that's where everybody's sworn in, isn't it?
Well, I think that's...
When is the swearing?
I think
Maybe you have more.
That would be the determination of the minister.
Emily, any final words about the commission? Well, we have to wish you all a good tenure and successful tenure. But
thank you so much.
Is there anything you observed that the public, in terms of their obligations and the authorities' obligations to the commission?
What I would want to do is to seize the opportunity to encourage the media houses to make suggestions to us as well as government, because we do not have a monopoly of ideas.
Exactly.
There are people out there, who understand the rules more than we do.
Okay.
So therefore, we would always encourage people to come up with suggestions with a view to helping us, improve on our assignment. Going forward too, I would want to call on the benefactor organizations to support organizations like the Gambia Press Union, and there's one you call Access to. They're also working on access to information to encourage the benefactor organizations to support these organizations financially, so that they would be in a position to sensitize the public as well as government bodies, because what we need to understand is that access to information, like I said, is for the public good. So we have a lot of laws out there but then the public do not know that those laws exist. So therefore, in order for members of the public to know the content of the access to information law, they need to be sensitized. So we want to encourage, because that is our responsibility. But notwithstanding, we cannot, like I said, we cannot do everything. This is why we will encourage the benefactor organizations to support those organizations. With the government institutions too, what we want to say is that we are set up by government. We are not an organization that is out there to witch hunt anybody. And we are not out. We are not also an organization that will serve as a front for anybody to undermine their work or undermine them. So therefore, what we would want to do is to work with them, so that we would all serve the public, because whatever, like I always say, whatever we do, whether in the public sector or in the private sector, we must always understand that we should do it for the citizens of this country, because ultimately what is important is the legacy we leave behind. So let us work together and help develop this country for the public good.
Good. Emily Touray, Commissioner, Information Commission. Charles John Njie, Vice Chairman, Information Commission. They're here as part of the new commission of information set up by government and approved by the National Assembly. They're headed by Nene McDowell-Gay, former Minister of Information and Broadcaster, and also include Yasin Touray. Touray. I don't know much about her.
She's a lawyer. She used to work.
She's a lawyer. Oh, so you have also a lawyer within yourself. And Abubakar Cham, of course, we know. Thank you very much. And like you said, we wish you all have a successful tenure. And we hope that through the execution of your mandate, it will be much easier now to access information from the public institutions and public officials. Thank you for being on the brunch. We will be back next week. Until then, Goodbye.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Kairaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980-8483, 340-9400 or 635-9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
Agada.
Mbijan aganyani.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code Njie.
Okay.
Korsan.
Nsila ID soto.
Ah, sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Ah,
mbare. Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere ha birim ko na fo kato
bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to
56 branches mo la sota Gambia jam
ha
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol nko kodo kiya bere kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to poto ni kodi maraw jannom number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wala nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol ni fana be teata Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina
yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel chosano lo
abaraka